The Virtual Boy had two bowling games, one for Japan, one for the US. In the US, Nestor's Funky Bowling by Nintendo. In Japan, Virtual Bowling by Athena. Which is better? Well, that's what I'm here to ponder. Nestor's Funky Bowling features Nestor, a character once made popular in the Nintendo Power magazine. In this game though, Howard from Nintendo Power is exchanged with Nestor's sister Hester, who never appeared in any of the comics by the way. Virtual Bowling doesn't have any characters, but of course it doesn't really need it. Okay, let's start with graphics. At first glance, clearly Virtual Bowling has the edge. The view is positioned low, and when you're bowling, the camera follows the ball along the lane, which looks very nice. Nestor's Funky Bowling takes the more traditional overhead view, which works well enough, but it doesn't look as good. However, where Nestor's Funky Bowling looks better is when you make a strike, spare or miss, there's animations and there's quite a few of them too. In Virtual Bowling it always looks the same. I have to say though, Nestor's a pretty negative guy. He gets very upset when he misses and sometimes even goes bald from the anger. Overall, when it comes to graphics, I have to give the point to Virtual Bowling. Nestor's Funky Bowling's animation is more fluent and it looks good too, but Virtual Bowling just looks a little better. On music and sound, they're both average. Both games have voice clips, Nestor's being a bit more crisp, and both have good sound effects. Nestor's music is good. There's 3 different songs to choose from, and I think that's where the funky comes from. Virtual Bowling's music is also good, but Nestor's I find slightly more catchy. Overall on music and sound, due to better voice clips and catchier music, I give the point to Nestor's Funky Bowling. Game modes. Both games have a regular mode of course, and a practice mode. In Virtual Bowling it's called a training mode, but it's the same thing. There you can place any pins anywhere and then try hitting them all. In Nestor's there's a lot of combinations to choose from, but the ability to choose them for yourself in Virtual Bowling is better. Nestor's Funky Bowling has a 2-player mode, alternating of course, since the multiplayer cable never got released. I've always thought that alternating multiplayer is kind of pointless, because if taking turns playing, any game can be a multiplayer game. Virtual Bowling on the other hand has a tournament mode, where you face several opponents and make progress that can be saved with passwords. People in silhouettes make up your opponents, including a regular guy, a muscle-bound guy, and a shapely woman. Where's the light switch? Here it's pretty obvious. Virtual Bowling has better game modes and it has more depth to it. When it comes to control, they're also on equal terms. Virtual Bowling's controls is more advanced and Nestor's is simpler but easier to use. Nestor's has 1 meter for spin and 1 for power. The cool thing is that you can move Nestor both while aiming and while walking towards making the shot, which can help sometimes. In Virtual Bowling you can position yourself before shooting, set where you want the ball to go with the right D-pad, and then there's a meter for spin, and finally a power meter which looks like it was taken right from a golf game. If you hit the 2 points correctly, the ball has a much bigger chance of going where you want it to. I've had some problems myself where I point to the middle of the lane, hit the spin and power meters seemingly well, and still have the ball go in the gutter. But I'm going to give Virtual Bowling a pass there and assume it's on my own fault. The final category is fun. Which game did I enjoy playing the most? Which do I think is better? This is a hard one. Virtual Bowling is certainly more advanced and a deeper experience, but Nestor's Funky Bowling is more easily accessible, and the fluency and fun of the animations add to the fun. In the end, I say that they are both equally good, but in different ways. If I wanted to jump in and play a quick fun game of bowling, I would play Nestor's Funky Bowling. But if I wanted to buckle down and play a tournament with more advanced functions, I would play Virtual Bowling. My conclusion, it's a tie.